your sight on the edge of Lound Wood. It's the 5th of November today. It's also 15 degrees centigrade as I drive along through Edwinstowe on my way to Ealing. Very, very mild temperatures. The nighttime temperature isn't going to go below double figures tonight. And so you have to make the most of temperatures like these. We'll see what we get when we get there. Well, it's a few minutes to 5 o'clock or 1700 hours, and here we are at the entrance. Looks like someone's just setting off a nice bonfire just down the way there, and there's a few spots of rain, but it shouldn't be anything. As you can see, the cloud is quite thin, it's very mild, there's a bat flying around, and it's a lovely night for trapping. Obviously we're going to be limited by species, but you never know what could turn up. We've got southerly winds at the moment that have come quite a way. We're off and running here at Lound Wood on the 5th of November 2025, and with a temperature of 15 centigrade. 1700 is the start of this session. Well, more or less straight away we have a feathered thorn around the light, and I have a moth potted up, a noctuid that appeared on the sheet before it even switched the light on, and I've got to have a look at that. But a nice start with feathered thorn, which is a very attractive moth and a nice one that you will attract during the autumn months as long as you trap the slate. Well, a very early start compared to the last time that we trapped, and of course here in the UK we've altered the clock, so we've gained an extra hour in bed at the moment. The clock's going back a few days ago. It means now, of course, that it's pretty much dark by 5 o'clock. You could start before 5 o'clock really if you were deep within any kind of woodland, but there's also lots of traffic on the way here too at the moment. It's the sort of main rush hour, and lots of people using the road through Ealing and Wellow as a cut through to try and cut out some of the traffic. But what traffic we'll get at the light this evening, I don't know. We may get something interesting. One thing I do know, there's a lot of redwings overhead, which early November, not any real surprise, but I've not heard nocturnal calls of redwing that much this year. But this is the third night of exceptionally mild weather, but the last 2 nights have been very wet and been very, very breezy, if not windy. Tonight's still breezy, but nowhere near like it was over the last 2 nights. So let's hope something notable or interesting comes in. But we'll give it a couple of hours at least, see what turns up and what happens in those 2 hours. Well, here's that feathered thorn, which has settled down nicely on the side of the box now. Very distinctive triangular shape, almost an equilateral triangle when completely at rest and the wings in the right position, but very attractive. You can sometimes find this moth sat openly on the top of large leaves of trees like hazel, for instance. I've done that on 2 occasions now. Just come across them openly sat there during the day. And the caterpillar is a large stick-like caterpillar which can quite regularly be beaten from the foliage of hawthorn and blackthorn. It's a very nice, attractive moth, lovely sort of almost a chestnut colour. Some can be darker and more redder, especially when they're fresh, but others can be quite like this, and there's almost a hint of 2 sort of lines across both of the forewings. But a nice one to get this evening. This was the first moth once I'd actually switched the light on. And right at the side of this moth there is another autumn favourite. Well, I've showed you these before, and this is a red-green carpet. There are 3 in either on the side of the box or on the sheet, and I thought I might as well show you it in the event that not much comes in and there's not a lot for me to actually film. But a very attractive moth. This was a quite dark one. This is a male. Only the females survive the winter to lay eggs in the spring. The males that you catch now at your light won't make it much past Christmas, I'm afraid. I have a surprise. This is my surprise. Might not look a great deal, but this is a moth that I've been trying to show you but failed to catch for the last 2-3 years, especially when I've trapped in November. The sprawler here has been one of my target species, and funny enough, it's a species which hadn't crossed my mind at all on the way here or so far this evening. And I'd been filming on the other side of the light, came round here, and this chap was sat on my new cushion. This is very much an autumn moth, a moth of late October and November. It's a long time since I've seen the adult here at Lound Wood. I did find a larva a couple of years ago. I beat one from some elm in the centre of Lound Wood. And we did used to get it at Harehill Wood near Kersal. But the last time I think I actually caught the moths, it would be Dillis and myself trapping in Gamston Wood, and it was probably, well, 10-15 years ago. It's a lovely moth. It doesn't look much, but it is a very nicely marked moth. Some specimens can be a little bit more greyer than what this individual is. And it's marked with a variety of dark and light streaks. It's very attractive. So I'm pleased to get this. This is a nice surprise. Hoping for different species, and it's surprising sometimes you forget some of the most obvious species that are likely to turn up, but unless you trap late in the year, you're unlikely to ever see this moth. Well, we've not had much in, and I definitely won't be staying any longer than the 2 hours this evening. It's just too breezy here, but I thought it was worth a chance. Just, you never know, could get some nice migrant coming up from the south, but I also thought that we'd get a few moths coming out of Lound Wood, but I didn't think that it was going to be this breezy, to be honest. It's very mild. It's temperature's only, what, 13 centigrade as I sit here. And we've not really had a couple of November moths. We've had, I think it's 4 red-green carpets, yellow line quaker, just had a chestnut in, which is the first chestnut, but the highlight has been the sprawler. Lovely to see that, first time in many years to see the adult sprawler. So I think it will be a cup of tea time, maybe a wander around, just see if I can net anything just inside Lound Wood there. The fireworks have quietened down, been like the Blitz. Not that I can remember the Blitz, of course, but it was quieter up here in the week. I came up here a couple of times in order to photograph the fabulous Comet Lemon, which is just starting to disappear now from Northern Hemisphere. That's been a super comet, it really has. And not that I have a big experience of comets, but when I photographed Comet Atlas last year, which was fabulous enough, Comet Lemon has a more beautiful tail. It's been an absolute beauty. We're blessed with comets at the moment, but Comet Lemon has been the best of those on show so far this year. No chance of seeing it tonight with the cloud, but it's been very nice all the same. So I think I'm going to have a cup of tea and just sit here and relax and just see what comes in. If anything can battle against these breezy conditions. More time to switch the light off. You can see how breezy it is, and there's nothing coming in. Very, very quiet and disappointing, but it's disappointing purely because of the breezy conditions. We will try again the first chance that we get.